In 359 BC, the Kingdom of Macedonia faced total collapse. Invading Illyrian forces pushed from the west, Paeonian raiders struck from the north, and Thracians pressured the eastern borders. The breaking point arrived when the Macedonian king, Perdiccas III, marched out to meet the Illyrians and was killed in action. 4,000 Macedonian troops died alongside him, leaving the state without a coordinated defense. This carved marble bust depicts the man who inherited the ruins, Perdiccas's younger brother, Philip II. He took the throne of a bankrupt frontier state that the powerful Greek city-states to the south dismissed as a land of barbarians. This crisis offered Philip a blank slate. To ensure the kingdom's survival, he began a total reorganization of the Argeat state. The information needed for this reorganization was gathered years earlier. As a teenager, Philip spent 3 years as a political hostage in the powerful Greek city-state of Thebes. During his captivity, he closely observed the Theban general Epaminondas, taking detailed mental notes on how the general utilized innovative battlefield formations and political maneuvering. Traditional Greek warfare relied on rigid pushing matches between citizen militias. Philip began to conceive of something different, a centralized fighting force that relied on professional drilling and total synchronization. He also studied the internal dynamics of his captors. He saw that the fiercely independent Greek city-states were constantly at odds, realizing that their refusal to unite made them vulnerable to outside manipulation. By keeping the young prince captive, the Greeks provided Philip with the exact strategic and psychological insights he would later use to dismantle their supremacy. When Philip returned to Macedonia and took power, he changed the infantry's primary weapon. He replaced the traditional 8-foot Greek spear with the sarissa, a massive pike measuring up to 18 feet long. The sarissa changed battlefield geometry. The first 5 rank spear points extended beyond the front line, forcing traditional hoplites to halt out of striking distance. In side profile, rear ranks held their pikes upright, creating a dense wooden screen that deflected incoming arrows mid-flight. Philip paid his men to drill year-round, creating a standing professional army. He banned the use of ox carts and drastically reduced the number of camp followers, forcing soldiers to carry their own rations and weapons. He also integrated mechanical torsion catapults and heavy siege engines into his columns. Instead of waiting years to starve a city into submission, the Macedonian army could now break through stone fortifications in weeks. These reforms turned the Macedonian military into a specialized industry that operated independently of the agricultural season, creating a force that could outmarch and outlast any opponent in the region. While his army grew, Philip secured his flanks through marriage. He took multiple wives from neighboring kingdoms, using these unions to forge binding treaties and rapidly secure his borders against raids. As he expanded southward, he used bribery and conflicting political pacts to ensure the Greek city-states remained divided. By the time they recognized the threat, they were too busy fighting each other to coordinate a defense. The Greek states finally allied together in 338 BC, but at the Battle of Chaeronea, Philip's heavy phalanx broke the combined last-stand forces of Athens and Thebes. This gold Nicotarian coin, struck with Philip's likeness, verifies the economic and absolute political authority he consolidated following that victory. He immediately established the League of Corinth, a legal framework that placed the Greek states under his direct command. Chaeronea demonstrated that when centralized force is paired with divisive diplomacy, the independent city-states were left with no viable path to resistance. In 336 BC, the Macedonian court gathered in the capital of Aegae for a grand royal wedding. The celebration took place on the eve of Philip's next campaign, an invasion of the Persian Empire. As the festivities began, Philip instructed his guards to keep their distance. He chose to enter the public theater unprotected, a move designed to present himself as a legitimate, approachable leader rather than a tyrant. But waiting near the entrance was a member of his own bodyguard, a man named Pausanias. Driven by an unresolved personal grievance and the internal friction of the Macedonian court, Pausanias rushed forward and fatally stabbed the king. The aftermath was chaotic. The assassin sprinted for a getaway horse waiting at the city gates, but the animal stumbled. Before Pausanias could be questioned, Philip's remaining guards swarmed the fallen man and killed him on the spot. A single, personal act of violence had brought the entire Macedonian coalition to a standstill. It revealed that for all its military strength, the new order was tied entirely to the life of one man. The kingdom immediately faced a succession crisis. Philip's 20-year-old son, Alexander, moved swiftly, executing potential rivals and securing the support of the army to take the throne. Alexander inherited a completed operational system. He took command of a professional army, a pacified Greek mainland, and a unified command structure that was already mobilized and ready to cross into Asia. This mosaic depicts the son who would take that army to the Indus River. While Philip pursued specific geopolitical objectives, Alexander applied a different level of ambition that reorganized the borders of the Mediterranean and the Near East. Alexander drove the campaign of conquest to the edges of the map, but it was Philip II who built the engine, standing as the architect of the systems that made those victories possible.